Okay, hello everybody. I'm Rob Anderson, and I am doing an interview today with Marshall, who's the owner of Creative Resale, a very, very innovative website that's very clever. And we're going to go through a couple of questions and cover them as we go along. First question is to Marshall: where did the idea to upcycle craft and art supplies come from?
Well, I'm a retired graphic designer, artist, crafter, and for years I thought about how nice it would be if art students and other people had access to a media that they want to try, but they don't want to pay the full price for, or that they did try and they didn't like it, and now they have a basement full of craft and art supplies. Then the final phase was when I went to my accountant and he had told me that his mother passed away and that she had left boxes and boxes of yarn and they just threw it out because they didn't know what to do with it. And that was the starting point of my website.
Okay, so like a trigger that kind of was the final thing that made you realize it's a good thing. I've seen it happen a lot, so I'm happy with that. So you mentioned graphic designer. What is your background?
I am, like I said, I'm a graphic designer and I'm also an artist. I work in many different medias and I'm a crafter and I've done, like all of us, a lot of different projects too.
I can understand that. I'm 50 something years old, 55 this year, I think, and I've done, I think, everything that they've ever done as far as crafting goes. Okay, now your website, Creative Resale, is about recycling and upcycling. I get that. How different, or what makes you different from eBay or Amazon?
I believe that the idea of what my passion is to let people have a place that is just for artists and crafters. And I advertise in my social media and everything that I do to promote my site is done mainly to artists and crafters. And so I don't take a percentage of your sales. I just provide very inexpensive ad space for you to place your ad.
Okay, onto
So,
the website. Okay, so run through very quickly for me as to how exactly it works. If I want to buy or sell something that I can see or that I want to put onto your website, how does it work?
well, if you want to sell something, you simply set up an account for yourself and take a picture of your items, and uh, then you just buy $1.99 for 90 days, and you list the item however you want and put the wording in however you want. If you want to put 10 items on one page, that's fine. And then people will contact you and they might say, I only want one or two or all of it. And that decision will be made between the two of you. At that point, it's between you and the customer. If you want to buy, it's the same situation. You contact the seller and they will contact you back about their product.
Okay,
Donating is
sorry. So if I wanted to, I could squeeze three products onto one sales page and save a little bit of money, but then I wouldn't get all three products noticed separately. Is that correct?
right. Once a product is listed, once you put an ad up, I then promote you to LinkedIn, to different forums in Facebook, and it's tweeted, and then it goes into a newsletter. So I'm here to do the advertising for your products, and which I think is amazing that you get that for something that you're trying to sell for $1.99 for
Yeah,
90 days.
can't argue with that there. Okay, so I love the idea that you are niche specific, that you are for crafters and art suppliers. For me, that's absolutely brilliant. It's part of what I'm doing with my website is knowing that I want to help crafters and artists alone, as opposed to, you know, whatever it is, landscapers and people that do other things that are different.
Exactly, and that's You asked me if people can list multiple things on a page, and of course, I would make more money if they didn't. But in the same sense, this is all about the crafters and the artist, and to upcycle their items instead of throwing them away.
Correct. It's like I said earlier when we were chatting before this recording. I think it's so community based. It's so beautiful in that pretty much it's it's crafters and artists helping each other, because the truth is that you can recycle and get some cash back for what you that was just sitting there anyway. So there's a lot of
Right.
things like that. Just here's another question: what if somebody wants to donate items? Can I donate items, and how does that hook in if you're a non-profit organization?
Actually, I am not a nonprofit organization, and I do not at this point buy things from people. But I do provide a list under donations on my website of people that I have researched that are in need of your items. And they are usually nonprofit organizations, um, and you would contact them to send whatever you want to send them.
Okay, so I just need to be clear on this. So somebody can come along and say, "Look, my mother-in-law has died, and so sad," and then we've got this entire room full of yarn, and they would donate it to you, and then you would list it for free, or would I still need to? I'd still need an advert, or would it not need an advert because it'll go straight to somebody who needs it?
No, I would suggest if they want to donate it and get a tax receipt for it, that they would contact one of my suggestions on my donation page of people who are in need of their stuff.
Oh, okay, okay. So I got that. Cool. Okay, very important question, because everybody's going to ask this. Do you ever buy things from people, or do they have to list it to sell?
At this point, I do not buy things for people, or I'm sorry, from people. Um, Maybe someday down the road, I might have a brick and mortar place that I will eventually do that, but at this point, I don't.
Okay, no, I'm happy with that. I personally would never try that myself. Occasionally, I'm sure if there's something that is absolutely necessary for what you're doing, that would be different. I get that. Okay, before I run away, I've got a final question, and I love this one. What are your long-term goals for your website or for your business? Where do you plan? Where do you see yourself going with it?
Well, I'm hoping that the word will get out on this and that I hope that we will attract people from all over. Obviously, you're from Africa and I'm in Michigan. Um, and eventually I think I would like to have a store where I was able to buy items from people and to sell them um, to people that really can't afford to pay full price.
Well, I have a vision, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, where I would love to have crafters that are literally in small hubs around the world, where this sort of um, concept would be it's like what's called Ubuntu here in Africa, where all the community shares, they share the growing of the plants, and at the same time they do the recycling and the upcycling within these different groups, and that to me would be the sort of thing
Yeah.
that I think would be great. Okay, Marshall, I really have enjoyed being able to do this interview with you, and I'm going to, as you know, put this up for everybody to see, and let's get the word out there, people. Let's support Marshall with her endeavors, and let's start to recycle. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.